Boho Bride Guide with Jenny Maynard, a podcast, blog and directory that shines a spotlight on the many hidden gems of extraordinary wedding vendors and services from across the southwest of the UK. We will uncover top tips, hints and advice from the experts that specialise in creating your dream boho-inspired wedding day and how to stick to your guns and get the day you really want. Get inspired, be bold and blaze your own trail and make your day unique to you. Welcome to this episode of the Boho Bride Guide podcast. You're here with me, Jenny Maynard, and today I'm flying solo and putting my wedding florist hat on, as I'm also the founder of Parker and Peony Flowers. And today I'm going to be answering the question, how much will my wedding flowers cost? As you know, I totally empathise with couples out there looking to plan their budget for wedding florals. Whenever have you ever in your life had to think of how much a bouquet costs? How much does my wedding floral arch cost? It is totally alien to many people. And so I hope to shed some light on the subject. So when I get contacted by a couple looking to get married, I try and keep it simple because it can be slightly mind-boggling. And I ask 5 simple things, okay? So number 1 is, what are your wedding party floral needs? When I talk about a wedding party, I'm talking about the bridal party and the groomsmen. So what bouquets would you like? What buttonholes would you like? Are there corsages? Are there thank you flowers? Are there the obvious buttonholes for your groomsmen? That's what I need you to clarify who's having what. And once you've got that, that is brilliant. That's a fifth of the information that I need from you. Number 2, what aspirations do you have for your wedding venue? So, what is your wedding venue, firstly? If you've clarified that, what in an ideal world would you love your budget to cover when it comes to the decor within the venue or outside the venue if you want anything as people are walking in? So we're talking about the suspended hoops. What are you going to have on your tables, on your top table? What's your ceremony going to look like when you walk down the aisle? Are you going to have any florals included in there? Are you going to have any florals as your guests arrive and look at the venue? And so is there going to be anything, a bit of a showstopper as you walk through? Please have a think about this and take some notes before you contact your florist. To be fair, though, your florist will help you with this if you're getting a bit overwhelmed with it, because there are so many options. If you need a bit of hand, that's what florists are there to do. Number 3, what type of floral design do you love? So again, this could be quite a new thing to you if you've never considered it before. But what I would recommend, get on Pinterest. If you haven't got Pinterest, get it downloaded on your phone. You will find it really useful as you can browse through the masses and masses of floral design on there and pin and keep whatever floats your boat, basically. This is so helpful as a florist, and it gives me a good gauge as to what your style is and how I can serve that. Number 4, are there any aspects of floral design that you don't like? So, are there any flowers that you particularly don't like? Are there any styles that you want to steer clear of? Again, this is just as important for your florist to know this, to make sure they get it right for you. And number 5 is, what is your budget? Now, this is always a little bit of a tricky one, and I find that couples can be a bit reticent to share what they want to pay for their wedding flowers. And I would please urge couples out there, please don't feel awkward about it. If anything, the florists want to do as best job for their customers as they can. And if they've got a gauge of how much they're willing to spend, they can make that stretch as far as they possibly can. And also, if we know what your aspirations are, but your budget is way off mark, we're able to tell you that at the onset. So we're not wasting time, and actually we can manage expectations on both parts. So there are masses of benefits to sharing your budget that you want to share with your florist at the earliest possibility. Also, if your aspirations are off the mark, then your florist can find that compromise where actually they might be able to use cheaper flowers or create smaller installations for you, so that actually you get what you want within your budget. So I would really recommend, that's a really important one. And please don't feel awkward or feel like you're on the back foot at all if you share that information. As I said, if anything, you're going to be streets ahead with getting what you want out of your florals for your big day. So this then gives me a clear idea of what we've got to work with then. And as a florist, I then run through the following considerations to figure out what the cost will then be for my client. So number one, I think of, so what they're asking for, is it seasonally available? If you've got a specific flower in mind that you want to use, a main consideration to ask is whether it's in season or not. So for example, if you're going to be getting wed in the autumn, but you want mountains of peonies and you're very specific on peonies, we're going to have a bit of a problem as peonies are seasonally available in the spring. So you may have heard it is possible to get flowers out of season, but they could be 3 or 4 times their usual price. And actually, they're not a quality specimen. And so I would want to steer clear, if at all possible, of using out of season flowers for this very reason. You're not going to get that wow factor when you use them. So my preference is to always buy seasonal beautiful blooms from local suppliers to create all park and peony flowers creations. Not only supporting local business, but you're also reducing our carbon footprint from flying them in through wholesalers, and not to mention being able to use more British flower varieties within the installations and my creations. They bring a fresh and garden gathered feel to our work, so who wouldn't want to do that? It's worth mentioning, whilst on the subject of flower availability, we don't yet know the full impact that coronavirus will have on the availability of flowers in the months and years to come. As if they're not locally grown, most of our flowers actually come from places like Holland, East Africa and South America and flown to the UK. Therefore, it is still unknown as to whether these companies firstly will still be trading, and if they are, what situation we will be in with global distribution channels, and whether we can actually get those flowers to our front door for us to prepare for your big day. So I would recommend keeping that communication channel open with your florist and see how that situation progresses as time goes on. The other consideration I look at is what ratio of flowers you would like to greenery. So basically, quality flowers are expensive. So the more blooms you have compared to greenery within your installations and bouquets, etc., the more expensive the material costs will be at source. So consider requesting your favourite flowers. Of course, we want you to have your dream florals on your special day, but maybe accompany them with beautiful greenery to break it up. This will considerably reduce the costs of your overall floral design to fit in with your budget if this is an issue. whilst at the same time, actually, greenery adds an organic, free-flowing feel, something which we absolutely adore here at Parker and Peony. That is right down our street. So actually, greenery is the king when it comes to creating our look. So you'll be well in if you are looking to use our services. The next thing I look at is labour costs, and actually the florist's window of time, I've called it. And due to the perishable nature of flowers, florists have a really tight window in which to condition, create and install all wedding flowers to ensure each of the products look at its best at the time you walk down the aisle. And so when you look down at that bouquet, each and every bloom is at its peak. And actually, that's a really tough timing to get right. So we've got time is of the essence when it comes to floristry. So if you've planned a number of both wedding party florals, as well as, for example, church entrance flowers, you want an arch there. If you want a suspended floral hoop within your wedding venue celebration room, not to mention the 13 guest table centerpieces and the top table flower garland, a number of florists will be needed to create this look within that short time span available. Labour costs will also include the takedown at the venue after your wedding. So to give you an idea, if you have a medium to large wedding to prep for, which is on a Saturday, I normally collect the flowers on a Tuesday/Wednesday, depending on availability, and then work flat out with approximately 2 other florists assisting me to get all of the floral products looking at their best for that Saturday lunchtime wedding. My labour costs normally work out around a third of my final bill. So to give you a rough idea of what you can expect to achieve within your budget, I've broken it down into approximate budget limits to give you a bit of an idea. So the first budget is the smallest of around sort of £300 to £350 English pound. And for that, you'd get a beautiful bridal bouquet. You'd get 5 buttonholes and 2 bridesmaid bouquets. For a budget of between, say, 500 and 600, you could get a beautiful bridal bouquet, 6 buttonholes and 4 bridesmaid bouquets. If you can get your budget up to £1,000, between £1,000 and £1,200, you're looking at a bridal bouquet, your buttonholes. If you wanted 4 bridesmaid foliage crowns, which I'm absolutely in love with, so I would definitely recommend those, as well as 8 table decorations, low centerpieces, and your top table floral garland. That's about between £1,000 and £1,200. If you're looking at a budget of 1,500 to 2,000, you'll get all of your wedding party florals, as well as your 12 guest table low centerpieces, and a top table floral garland, as well as a ceremony floral arch backdrop. So when you walk down the aisle, there will be a beautiful backdrop full of florals. So all of those beautiful photos, and if you're having a videographer, that will set the scene for you to say share your vows to one another. And I've put on here, if you've got a budget of between 2,000 and 2,500, and you'll get all of your bridal party and your groomsmen florals. You can have, for example, you can get 10 guest table greenery garland centerpieces, another thing I'm in love with. A top table floral garland. You will be able to get 3 suspended greenery hoops, suspended from the pillars within, say, a marquee. They look absolutely stunning in that sort of setting. As well as floral pillars sat at the celebration entrance. So as your guests walk in, you really get that wow factor. And actually, it's a perfect photo opportunity as well for your guests when they're mingling, eating the canapes. They can go and stand by the floral pillars and get some beautiful photos there. So you can get all of that for up to around £2,500. So I hope that breakdown is useful when you're starting to think about your budget for your wedding florals. So think about that. In summary, get collecting images of flowers and styles you love. Pinterest is a definite recommend. Clarify your budget using the example wedding flower budgets above. So I will put all of these flower sort of breakdown budgets on the blog on our website www.thebohobrideguide.com, and I will put it in a blog entry there so you can have a look, so you can give a bit of a gauge as to where you think you need to budget for your wedding party florals and your venue decor. Get in touch with your florist and get the ball rolling. Be honest about your budget, and they can then give you a more individualised quote, which you can tweak and perfect, ready for your big day. So thank you for listening. You've been here with Jenny Maynard from Parker and Peony Flowers. If you've got any further wedding flower queries that you would find useful me doing another podcast on, please get in touch with me via our Instagram or our Facebook, and that is instagram.com/the Boho Bride Guide or facebook.com/the Boho Bride Guide. I would love to hear, firstly, what you thought about this podcast, and actually what other questions you would like me to answer with regards to wedding florals going forward. So please get in touch. I love to hear from you. Hope to hear from you soon. Coming up in our next episode, episode 5, I am visiting Middleny Manor, a stunning 16th century wedding venue set in the heart of the Somerset Levels. I will be chatting to the owner and wedding planner there, the fabulous Alice Acton. We will be talking all things around the subject of how to create a relaxed outdoorsy wedding day, regardless of the forecast. See you there. You've been listening to the Boho Bride Guide. If you'd like to comment on any of the topics discussed in today's episode, please do subscribe to the series. Our fabulous wedding vendor interviewed in today's episode will be featured on our website within the podcast show notes section. So to find their details, hop over to www.thebohobrideguide.com. You can tweet us at the Boho Bride Guide, search Instagram for @the Boho Bride Guide, or find us at facebook.com/the Boho Bride Guide.